brings me to what is coming through today that in my meditation that wanted to come through. It's been coming through for a few days, but several years ago, my guides had said to me, it is essential that you raise your gaze. Raise your gaze. And at that time, this is years ago, I was interpreting that to mean of how we can get really distracted in our own personal lives, right? We can get really fine-tuned, like head down in the microscope, looking at our micro experience, right? We can look at our pain, we can look at our own interpersonal experience. We can get really, and look at my body, really contracted into the micro and really like focused and positioned on this like one thing, this one experience, this one And they kept saying, tell them to raise their gaze, tell them to raise their gaze, tell them to raise their gaze. And I took that to mean, like, you can look at your micro or you can look up, right? You can raise your gaze to the landscape that's before you, to like what is on the horizon, right? Because your micro experience is just in this moment in time. It's just here and now. But there's a whole macro experience. And if you're willing to raise your gaze upward, you also have greater capacity to see the solution, right? As opposed to the pain or the limitation or the disruption or the destruction, they're saying. You can raise your gaze. And we've been getting a lot of information right now to look up, look up, look up, look to the heavens, look to the skies, right? And in a lot of the spiritual communities, it's like, bring our ET friends in, look up, and we're seeing so many light orbs and cloud formations, and like our real eyes are getting to see so much clearer. We've been told to look up, look to the skies, look up, look up. So this is coming through really quickly, or I mean really strongly right now, and I think it needs to be a quick kind of adjustment for us as humans, especially with the intensity of this week, especially riding these last 48 hours of US elections, especially moving into the unknown. It is just becoming clearer and clearer and clearer through me, through guidance, through the Light Council, that we must raise our gaze up above the mix, above the mess, above the distortion. Okay, raise your gaze up, because this is what brings you to the horizon, if you will, to the dawn of a brand new day. And there's a much bigger picture going on here, friends. So wherever you're attaching to who the next face shall be in leadership, or what is here, or it must be this because that is dark and that is evil, and this, I mean, no matter what side you move into, you can feel and see such extreme polarization and distraction in either direction. Okay, and hate being met with hate, and lies being met with lies, and all of these lower density vibrational things. It's all here. And if you're in the micro of it, in the microscope, trying to adjust it, believing in an attachment that one thing has to be one thing in order for you to be safe or free, then raise your gaze. There is a much bigger picture going on, my friends. My guidance keeps saying, like, get out of the microscope of the micro and raise your gaze to see the bigger picture from the perspective of the macro, of what is here for you. Not in the limitation of what's always been, but what is now becoming more and more and more available to you. They're saying, no matter what, no matter who, the way to the light shall be shown to you. Attach to nothing, allow for everything, no matter what, no matter who. The trajectory of this awakening, the momentum of this great awakening, the soul agreements, the commitments to it, the activation of it, the alignment to it, the allowance of it, it's all set in motion. It's all set in motion. There's no stopping. I use the metaphor that, you know, when you're in delivery, when the baby has crowned, you cannot push the head of the baby back up. It's already in motion, right? Our great awakening, our great transformation is already in motion. Please, dear friends, do not attach to a person, to a name, to a face as being the deliverance to bring you home. It's so much bigger than that. You are so much more potent and powerful than that. No matter who leads, the way to the light will be shown if you raise your gaze to the horizon and expect nothing less than the light of creation, of creator, you as the creator to be shown through you. And they said with this, like, stop trying to figure it out. Figuring it out. If this happens, then that's going to happen. Then this is going to happen again. Micro, 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 micro. You're micromanaging because you're trying so much to find ease and a perception of safety, to move out of fear. Stop micro managing and move into the macro of what is possible. And I promise you, it is not dependent on this election. And that might not be the popular vote right now, but it is so much bigger than what you are focusing on, most of you, some of you. Stop figuring it out, they say, and start figuring it, reconfiguring it in. Start to configure it on the inside. Look into your own heart, and the light that you seek shall be revealed through you. So when you cease to attach to an outside outcome as resolve for your well-being, then you will be in alignment with your greatest creation, which is your freedom, your light, and the source of your love. This is what we are being summoned into in higher consciousness, where you are playing on the 3D constructs of who, what, said, did, do, didn't do, could not, could. All of this is a third dimensional playground of distortion. And it is time that you raise your gaze to something that is much higher in vibration, which is where we're going. Our desired outcome, it's love, it's light, it's freedom. Your attachment to who you believe is going to take you there is, again, a resemblance of your third dimensionality, believing that you are somehow separate from the source of which you are creating. You are the creator. Align on the horizon to the light of your desired outcome without attaching it to a person, a party, a thing, an event, an experience. And we shall find our way home. Like, this is it. Stop trying to figure it out and go reconfigure it in without attachment. Stop attaching to anything or anyone outside of you for your comfort. You are a light being. You are extraordinary. You are powerful beyond measure. And you are the ones who will lead you home, lead us home. Like, each one of us being in our sovereignty, being in our light, being in as light leaders, right? This is where we stop attaching to outside leadership and start attaching to the inner wisdom of our light source as being the advocate for our way home. And I know this doesn't make sense from the mind, because the mind is still programmed to believe that our sovereignty is in the hands of external forces and sources. And it does appear to be that way for now. But this is the deconstruction of the illusion of non-truth. So, my dear ones, wherever you are attaching that feels burdensome, painful, or as if you lose, then everything is lost, I ask you to raise your gaze, to look at the bigger picture, to look to the light that is within you, to cast that light out as a beam outside of you. And this is not Pollyanna talk. This is ushering in a new earth, bringing us to a new humanity. You cannot push the baby back up. It's already in momentum. It's already happening. What are you attaching to? Are you attaching to the light and the bright of the horizon? Are you attaching to the third dimensional deconstruction of limitation and pain, of separation and suffering? It is your choice in every moment. And this beam of light coming in is just reminding that the light is here for you everywhere. Raise your gaze. Detach to reconstruct to find our way home. You are that powerful. You are that worthy. You are that prepared. You are that sovereign. And your time is now. Thank you for your service here on planet Earth. Thank you for your love, for your light. Remember, that is your greatest offering. It's your greatest protection. It's your greatest safety. And it is the pathway for your freedom and the truth of your salvation. And it is here for you. Raise your gaze. Look in to cast out your brilliant light, and we shall rise together as one. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you for you. Make it a beautiful, blessed, and abundant day, dear ones.